guys, it's your boy Alex West Collects here, bringing you the most in-depth action figure reviews here on YouTube. And today we're taking a look at WWE Mattel Ultimate Edition Legends Yokozuna. These are a Target exclusive, and if you guys are not familiar, there is a Chase variant, and we were fortunate enough to score both at my local Target. So we have the standard Yokozuna with the red and black sash. On the right, we do have the red pants with the white sash here. You can see how awesome this figure looks in the packaging, and it is big. These two are freaking heavy. There is a lot of plastic, and he looks great in the box. So, again, Target exclusive. These should not be that bad to find. As of right now, as of this recording, they are up for... available for you guys to order and ship to your home, or even pick up at your local store. I would suggest maybe trying to do a pickup in store, maybe order two and see what you get, and you could always return one if you don't score the Chase. If you are out to get it, without a doubt, I definitely wanted the standard version. To me, that is the iconic look for Yokozuna. But when you introduce a Chase, and I get it's just a different color sash, but it does add a little something to it. I really do like the white on the figure. The white and red does pop really nicely. And I always buy multiples of each Ultimate just to get some different display options. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe display one with a robe and one of the particular head sculpts, and maybe another with another head sculpt, maybe without the robe. I think maybe it makes sense. See, this is where it gets tough, right? Like, you'd want to go without the robe because the white shows that it's a Chase, but I mean, his iconic red and black gear, that's tough, man. I do actually have the very original Mattel Elite 15 Yokozuna in my collection. I remember when I grabbed that figure, it was staining from the robe, man. So a lot of the arms had black stain marks on it. I feel like I swapped it with the most recent, was the Royal Rumble Elite. It took me forever to finally say, all right, I'm just going to swap these arms out and give them ones that aren't stained. But now the question is, do we say goodbye to that figure? Because that was one that was highly sought after. I feel like Elite 15 Yokozuna, Elite 16 Kevin Nash, Elite 17 Mankind, even Elite 16 Diesel will throw in there. Those were some of the really original figures I remember having such a hard time finding back then. And think about it, we're up to series, 110 is next for the Mattel Elite line. Just insane to think about, but I definitely do have that figure in hand, and we will compare it with this brand new Ultimate Edition and see if that figure still stacks up, or are these Ultimates now the superior Yokozuna. But you can see the packaging does have the red outlay here on the front. You got the Ultimate Edition logo with the Yokozuna nameplate. So you get the robe, you get the bucket, which was also included with the Royal Rumble. You get some interchangeable hands that you can see in the packaging, and as well as the interchangeable heads. If you notice, the Winged Eagle title does have the black globe, which is a little disappointing at this point. Like, come on, man. This was like originally how we were getting the belts with the Mattel line, and I don't know why we're going back. I guess it's probably cost cutting, but man, come on, you couldn't squeeze out a little money just to give us the blue globe. Small nitpicking. I have plenty of other belts which I 100% will swap out. It's a $35 toy. I figure at this point we should have to like deal with little things like that. But let's look at the top of the box. You will see Yokozuna, and the Chase and Standard do have the same exact box. There is no difference. You can see Yokozuna nameplate on the side. Flipping on the back, oh, wow, okay, maybe there is a difference in the packaging. I don't know if this is maybe an error or not, because I know the Macho Man figure, the Target Macho Man, did not have the yellow outlay on the box, and they did like a running change. I feel like this is how it looked originally, and then they kind of highlighted. So this is a flatter kind of finish here, so I don't know if this is going to be a running change, or maybe the Chase was supposed to be, I believe. Oh, maybe that's the standard version. Sorry, the standard version has the white outlay, or no like highlighted outlay on the actual image of Yokozuna. That's interesting. So that's something to keep an eye out for you super completists of these crazy variants. I am not. That would drive me nuts if I was one of those type of collectors. But take a look at the box. You get the awesome figure photography. Look at the large image of Yokozuna. You can see the stats and the little read up if you guys do want to pause it. There you go. If you guys want a screenshot of the barcode as well, I'll give you guys that opportunity right here. But enough chatting. I want to get both these figures out of the packaging and see what they're all about. And for those wondering, the little Easter eggs on the top of the Ultimate Edition box, it does say Bonsai, and on the bottom you will see it says the Unslammable Champion. Alright, so here are all the accessories that are included with your Ultimate Edition Yokozuna. Just to note, the accessories are the same between the Standard and Chase. There is no difference, so we're going to only look at one set. Let's start with the championship belt. So you can see we have our VAC finish Winged Eagle title. It does have the black globe, if you guys are noticing that. Mattel originally were releasing the Winged Eagle belts with this, and then they eventually added the blue globe, which Makes a hell of a lot difference in my mind. It just doesn't look as nice, but at least they included the belt. At least it's a vac finish. I'm going to say again, it's probably a cost-cutting feature. Hands, you get a bunch of interchangeable hands. So you'll get the open hands with your Yokozuna. You will get a set of fisted hands here, as well as a set of mic open holding hands. So good amount of interchangeable hands. You also will get this bucket, I believe it's the salt bucket or whatever the hell it was that they would use. This did come with the Royal Rumble figure a while back. You can see it does articulate here, has some nice strands of the rope. Really nice sculpted design. You can see on the inside of that bucket. Good size to it. So that looks pretty awesome. You also do get 3 interchangeable heads, and we will take a close look at all these on the figure. But you get your kind of like standard, like stoic face. You get more of the angry face, a little bit of an open mouth, and then you get the kind of screaming scan. I like them all. They're very, pretty good likeness to Yoko. You can see the sculpting on the hair up top with the bun. And I just like the ability to have different display options and have him upset or just, screaming like he's ready to pounce on someone. And look at the size of this soft goods robe. It is massive. It definitely, I believe, should be an upgrade of what we got prior. This is just so nice and soft. You can see the belt is stitched on here, so it will not fall off. Take a look on the inside of this. There's a lot of fabric here. Nice detailing designs here. See the little logos and writings on the front. And I'll be honest, I didn't know Yokozuna was not Japanese, man. He had me fooled because I think it was recently, or maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was like, he's Samoan? I had no idea he wasn't Japanese, but that is awesome. He fit the gimmick to a T. Let's jump to the figure. All right, so here we have both versions of the Ultimate Yokozuna. I feel like it only makes sense to do them simultaneously here and just kind of get the differences between the two figures. And you're not going to see much of a difference. Obviously, the sash is just a different color, but we will go through them real quick for you guys. So here is the standard version. You can see the size of this figure. It does have a nice weight to it. You can see the bigger torso here. He does have the butterfly joints added as well. I know some people say he does have some tiny arms, and I feel like for the most part they have been giving Yoko some smaller arms, so maybe there's some different options people can figure out to swap to that'll match the skin tone. But this figure does look massive in size. You can see the torso here. Looking at that head sculpt up close on the figure, it looks pretty good. Again, a great likeness to Yokozuna. You can see the sculpting of the hair, how it is in the bun. Look at the backside, man. Very large Yokozuna. I believe he does have the drop-down hips feature, which we will go through when we do our articulation part of this video. But you can see he's got the red pants here with the black sash. He does have the wraps around his feet. You guys can't see that. And again, this figure has some weight to it. But if you guys wanted to see the chase version here, again, most of the figure is the same. It's the sash is what it's going to set it apart and make it the more limited figure here. If you guys want to do a quick comparison of both Yokos here. Mine did come with a little bit of some schmutz here. I was able to scrape some of it off with my my finger, so I will clean that up after I get this video out, but not too bad. The legs do have the, I believe they're painted on here, the skin tone. So sometimes I know a lot of the Yokos that I grabbed, especially later on, whether it was the Legends or Hall of Fame figure, and then the Royal Rumble one, I feel like they were always kind of sloppy around the legs. These seem to be pretty clean for the most part. I mean, there's some kind of marks on here, but they look a little cleaner than they have, I feel like, in other figures past. He does have the pin legs. That is pretty interesting to see. I don't know what's going on with the pinless leg molds. I don't know if they're redoing it because they did seem to be a little stiff. It was a little hard to articulate them, so maybe they're going back to the drawing board and kind of maybe fine-tuning that. But I want to do some articulation. I also want to swap all the heads on both these figures and give you a close look at them. So real quick, let's look at all these head sculpts on the figure body. So you have the straight face scan, which we just looked at. You have the gritting teeth scan on the figure body. I will say these were a little snug to get on there. Not too bad, but I just wanted to point that out. Be a little careful. And lastly, we do have these screaming scans on the figure. These actually fit a little better, but one thing I'm noticing, you guys can see the seams are just a little open on both of these figures around the neck peg. When I snapped the other head in, this one kind of clicked a little bit, so I did want to point that out. Be a little careful. Both of them just have just a little bit of a seam. I don't think it's going to come apart, but I did want to point that out. Let's go through some quick articulation on this Ultimate Edition Yokozuna. So the head, again, will fully rotate around. You do have the butterfly joints. I feel like the cut is a lot smaller if you guys are noticing that. But this still does have some good range of motion. Doesn't feel too loose either. He does have the bicep swivel here. You do have the double jointed pinless elbows. You do have the wrist articulation, also the hinge. You do have this big diaphragm joint. You can kind of get him in some good kind of posing around here. He does not, I don't believe he's got any waist articulation. So I think the only way you're going to turn him is at the top diaphragm joint here, unless I'm missing it, because it does feel a little stiff. I don't think there is waist articulation, which we generally do have with these Mattel figures. Does he have the drop down hips? I believe he does, but it's a little snug. It doesn't really drop down too much compared to what we are accustomed to with Mattel. Even moving the leg up, it is a little stiff. He does have this big thigh over here, which does articulate. He does have the double jointed knees. There is a cut at the calf as well. The feet do have the toe articulation. They also do hinge up and down, and just a little bit of ankle rocker. Let's see how this one drops. Not that much, to be honest. I would have thought we had more articulation, and my legs just feel super stiff. I do not want to break him, so I'm a little disappointed in articulation. I feel like it could have been a little better, and I expect it to be better for an Ultimate. I was curious to see if the articulation was maybe just stiffer on the standard version. So bringing in the chase, the hips drop down about the same, but he can kick up a little easier, and he can do the splits a lot better. I will say that this leg is a little stiffer. I believe he's on ball joints, if you guys can see that here. So maybe just a matter of having to articulate a little more just to loosen the joint. But if you want to bring back the standard version here, his legs go out a decent amount. I don't know. Just like I said, I expected it to be better because I feel like the leg drop and the bonsai drop are just such a big feature. All right, I guess these are articulating a little more. Now that I've kind of loosened up a little, if you guys can see underneath the sash there, it does leave a very big noticeable gap when you do drop it down. But maybe you just have to play with it and loosen them a little bit because mine are fairly stiff. So I have a bunch of comparisons I wanted to run through with you guys. So let's start with some tag teams and some other super heavyweights to see where this Ultimate Yokozuna stacks up. So we have the Natural Disasters, Earthquake, and Typhoon. These are the greatest hits versions, so you will see they are taller, but comparing their size versus this brand new Ultimate Yoko. Next up, we have a few more super heavyweights. We have the Royal Rumble Elite Vader on the left, and we have the Greatest Hits Elite Rikishi on the right. Next up, we have a few more super heavyweights. We have an Elite Bam Bam Bigelow, and of course, the Ultimate Edition Andre the Giant. And here's a fun one. Some of Yokozuna's WrestleMania 9 opponents. We have Bret Hart here. I believe this is the Royal Rumble gear. And the all pink, but close enough, right? And on the right, we have Hulk Hogan. This is a custom Ultimate Edition I put together after he defeated Yokozuna to win the belt at WrestleMania 9. So here's the comparison I'm sure a lot of you guys wanted to see. We have the Elite 15, the original Yokozuna released by Mattel. I wanted to compare the robes. I don't believe this is the original robe because it was staining. I feel like I swapped it. I don't know if this was from, I don't think the Target figure came with it. Maybe it was the Royal Rumble figure. I honestly don't even remember, but if you guys wanted the difference from this robe, you can see it definitely is a different design. The checkered design is a little bigger on the Ultimate. It does have these, I want to say they're Japanese symbols. They are not on this robe here. You can see on the back. He also did have the white hair tie, which he does not have on this figure. This bucket, I believe, is similar, pretty much exactly the same. Let me bring that in real quick. I believe it's the same. So I did take this from the Royal Rumble figure and throw it on here just to kind of plus him up. But just removing it, if you guys want to see this robe itself, this sash is not tied to it, is not sewn on there. It does come off, and I actually prefer this robe a lot more on the Ultimate versus this original one. This is just a nice, thicker material. It's just nicer. The pattern looks a little better. But I do have the standard Yoko here. Well, that was the Chase version in the robe. To give you that comparison, look at the head sculpts, how far we've come. I feel like I say this all the time. The torso looks a lot better if you ask me on the Ultimate. He just looks bigger. You can see the size. As far as the height, I feel like they're about the same. I don't know, did I swap this head out? I don't remember him having a white tie. You guys can correct me down below, but I don't remember if this is the original head. Honestly, I've had this figure in my collection from back in the day, the original, so it's hard to tell. But if you guys want a comparison, this is definitely the obvious body for the Elite 15. You can see, again, the skin tone is a little different, the size is a little different. I will say this head is a little fatter. You can see the arms also have the skinny arms. The size of the legs, I believe the legs are the same. You can see the added articulation on the toes, a little different. The backside looks to be a little, again, same size, same girth. You guys wanted some comparison to see if it's worth upgrading. I actually prefer the Ultimate. I feel like it looks a lot nicer. I believe he's also on the ball joints here, so definitely two really large figures here. If you guys have enjoyed this video review, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this Ultimate Yokozuna figure. Will you be grabbing the Chase? Will you be grabbing the Standard? Are you grabbing both? Are you passing? I want to know all your thoughts down below. While you're at it, please turn on those notification bells. Stay tuned to the newest action figure reviews here on my channel. My personal thoughts on this brand new Ultimate Edition Yokozuna. I feel without a doubt this is his best figure ever made. It's not without any faults, but the figure is really fun. Going through some of the cons, I will say I'm not crazy about the articulation on this figure. I feel like it could have been a little better. The legs are kind of stiff. It makes me feel like I'm going to break him moving it, so take that with a grain of salt. Maybe it's just mine, but that's one of the things that was kind of sticking out to me as far as what I did not like about the figure. The belt, I wish it would have had the blue globe. That's probably my biggest complaint, without a doubt, because, I mean, articulation is one thing. I don't do a ton of figure photography. These guys are going to pretty much stand on my display shelf, so I'm okay with the articulation not being the best, but the blue globes, man, I feel like, come on, that's something that should have been a layup at this point with Mattel. But I really do love all the head sculpts. I love all the accessories. To me, this feels ultimate, right? Like, we recently got the Ultimate Edition 21 Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Like, look at everything that Yoko comes with. He comes with the bucket. He comes with the belt. He comes with the hands, 3 heads, the soft goods robe. To me, this is an Ultimate Edition figure. And I get maybe the budget for that series maybe went to Cody Rhodes' ring entrance coat. But look at this figure. It comes stacked with things, and of course, I'm going to say it again, the belt didn't have the blue globe, but they were still able to pack a lot with it. The figure is really fun. Which one do I like better? I'm going to go with the standard version. To me, again, that's just traditional Yokozuna, but if you can find the Chase in the wild, I say go ahead and grab it. It's just something different. I think this is how I'm going to display him. I'm going to do the screaming scan for the Chase with no robe, and I'm going to go with the robe for the full black and red gear. Whether it's worth keeping the Elite 15, I don't know. That was just a figure that was so hard to get. You know, it felt like very few people were able to obtain that figure, especially in good condition without any staining. So I think I'm probably going to keep my collection. I know a lot of people are making cuts, but I'm going to keep the Elite Yokozuna. I'm going to keep these two on my display. I don't think I'm ever personally going to need another Yokozuna in my collection. Now, some people want the bearded look with the white attire, which we did get as a Hall of Fame figure from Target, but these two are pretty damn awesome, and I think they are the definitive Yokozuna. So if you are able to grab them, again, they are Target exclusives. Check the app. Maybe order them to your house. Maybe get lucky. I know there's a limit per 2, so maybe grab 2 and see if you get, you know, maybe get a Chase if that's the only one you want. You can always return the other 2 to the stores. But I appreciate you guys tuning in and checking this video review. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at AlexWestCollects. Thank you again for your continued support, and tune in here, and I'll catch you all in the next video review.